Hello there, and welcome to another episode of my Star Wars world. And in the last episode, we completely finished up Tatooine. It's finally all built up. We have everything done here, and now it's time to move on to the next island. But before we get to that, something very special has happened. So 2 episodes in a row, it's a special episode, and that's because, let me see if I can head down here. You might be able to tell if I can find one of them. They're scattered about somewhere. Now that I've got everything built, I can't find them anymore. Don't tell me they got despawned after it. Oh, here's some. Something's a bit different about this guy. And also, if I head over to this place, and look at that, you might also notice this. Yes, that is right. I finally managed to update my game. Now, we did have some issues going to 1.21.4 because of this lightsaber resource pack. It required CIT re-soon, which unfortunately they didn't seem to release one, unless I just about missed it. But I've been checking it every week and it wasn't there, so I had to skip that one, because once it goes to 1.21.5 you can now have these custom textures without anything like re-soon. And my game has just completely frozen, so I'm going to turn these off. There we go. As I've built more, it's been more difficult to run the shaders here, but I can still do them for the time lapses. And also, it looks to me like the lightsabers are a lot more vibrant in this version as well. They look way more blue, which is really good, because they looked a bit muted before, so I'm happy about that. I'll tell you what then, let's go and check out my little lightsaber scene with Darth Maul and with Qui-Gon Jinn over here. Oh yeah, they look way better. Let's get that started. That's not working anymore. So there's going to be a lot of things that I need to work on, and this is quite unfortunate. Another problem that we are going to run into here is that unfortunately one of my farms is broken. So if I'm correct, I shouldn't be getting XP from these. Yeah, there we go. No XP! Why? Why have they done this? For me, this is the absolute worst change. And I know some people say that it's too easy, but at the end of the day, you don't have to make this farm. And there's no other like fully AFK way like this other than maybe with dogs, but then it's much slower. This is ridiculous. This was my favourite thing in the world. I'm going to have to change it. I'm going to have to change this little killing area, which is going to be a nightmare, because I'm going to have to build a wall around it so that the piglins can't get in here while I'm doing it, because this thing never breaks aggro. There we go. I actually found a no fog which works, which is great, and it was on the mods here. I actually found camera tweaks, and when you click into it, you also get the zoom, and you also get the free cam, which isn't showing on this page, but yeah, it has free cam on there as well. So I was able to delete 2 other mods for that, and then you just need a config, which is this one at the bottom, which is yet another config lib. So that's all sorted. I also realised that the armor statues thing, when changing the data packs, I had deleted the armor statues data pack that I had. Now I have the mod still, so the statues work. Oh my goodness. Are you gonna... Surely you're gonna go up there. Don't tell me this isn't working. Oh, that's gonna be annoying. Alright, let me go have a look at this armor stance. Hopefully this works now and I didn't mess up the books by trying to activate it without it active, but let's see. Yeah, there we go. All working again. Fantastic. That means we can start working on Mustafar, because we're going to need these animated armor stands pretty soon. But I think for now, let's just get on with starting this, and the first step is going to be a long one, which is going to be removing all of this. I'm just going to level it. I'm going to start again and just work from the bottom. It'll be much easier to build the rock face on Axiom with this being flat, and I can just put a bunch of diamonds on the floor or something to use. And also then everything will kind of be hollow, which gives me plenty of space to make some crazy super smelter. Hold on, hold on, hold on. Wait a minute, I've just realised something. Firstly, what on earth is this? This new zoom is crazy. And secondly, enough of that. I also realised this shovel is fine at the moment. My other shovels, however, are not fine. And I went to go and fix them, and I kind of realised I don't want Silk Touch. I do not want Silk Touch because I do not want any more of this mycelium. I don't have anywhere to repair my tools now because the gold farm's not working for XP. And the Enderman farm, I swapped over to the Skulk farm so many episodes ago. Now, I don't really need the Skulk farm, so I could just place some blocks in and use that temporarily. But we're going to have to fix this gold farm eventually. So let's just take a break from that digging out now. And we will go fix the gold farm up and come back and finish all this once I have that working again. So I do not have a perfect solution to this, and it still loses some of the gold, but to be honest, if I want gold I can just make a separate gold farm. I do also have my farm over here which I could just switch off the piglin side, and then that way I would be able to just collect the gold up in there. So the gold's not really a massive issue. I mean, if you take a look here, other than what I've just got from testing this, which is probably a fair amount, yeah, I already had about 12, 13 blocks of gold in each of these. How has this guy got down here? Has he fallen through the system or something? I don't know. Ignore these, I just dropped these, so including those golden carrots, as you can see. So yeah, ignore that for a second. This is also what happened at the end, so that's just because these are dropping. And yeah, it's really quite difficult to get this working and efficiently, so obviously I'm going to use an auto clicker on half a second. That'll be perfect for the sweeping edge to reactivate. So the first issue that I ran into, I found a fix online for it, but there when you're not sitting in this position, so the zombie pigmen don't see you, so it can cut off the aggro. Then there's an issue of the baby zombie pigmen getting through, which I've seen some people had in the comments. But if you guys still want to have a look at that video, I'll share what I looked at after this. The only thing that I actually copied from that really is the piston here, the carpet and the stairs. That's basically it. Everything else I just come up with. So essentially this piston will activate. If we press this, you'll see it pushes those down, and then these alternate, so that will drop them, that will push them. So I actually had to slow this piston down because it was going so fast that by the time it shot the second amount, this would actually be extended and they would get blocked here, which would just cause the items to get blocked in the system. And then the trapdoor here I had to place because some of the items would actually land sort of on the edge of this block, which means that they wouldn't get pushed all the way, they would get stuck on this, and you can see it working now. And then this would stay active, which would lead the slime block to be stuck out, which means you'd have to wait for those to despawn. Then I ran into the next issue, which was when the second one comes around, the item would come down here, and because it's on the edge, if this slime block was here, like one over, then it would actually get stuck on the corner here and not get pushed by the slime block. So in order to do that, I had to use double piston extenders. I probably didn't need one here now that I think about it, but it still helps because any items that are on the edge won't get stuck. So the double piston extender, yeah, that's just to keep the slime block one further away, and it's doing the job exactly as I wanted. And then it goes all the way around, and you'll see on this side there is a hopper here. That's just for me to test to see if I was losing items, which I am, but it wasn't a significant amount. Yeah, so we're just going to replace that, and we're going to put a netherrack here, and or maybe a soul sand or something like that, and we'll just put that there. I just got rid of my pickaxe. Luckily this is a creative copy. So yeah, the items will end here, they'll get burned. Now this hopper here is because I realised there's another item that comes when you start attacking them with the sword compared to when it was AFK, which is the heads. So I figured I'm not going to get that many, or I don't need that many, so I'll just put a hopper here and we can fill that up. And at the moment I don't even know if I have any of these, so it's going to be tricky to get that started, but we'll see how that goes. So the reason I did it this way with the ice is because I didn't want to tear down all of this system, because I have all these crafters here that are crafting up the ingots and the blocks, and that makes it a lot better for my storage. This way I didn't actually have to replace any of the storage, but all the issues were really a nightmare. Then when it was finally working and all of the items were going around correctly, I then found I couldn't attack these guys, so I had to raise these up instead of have them down, and I can walk to the edge and stay crouched here, which makes it easier for me to reach with the sword to get the sweeping edge on the armor stand here. I also had a gap here, but then items were getting stuck, So in order to close the gap, I had to have underneath open, but then items were also getting stuck. So then I was like, what can I do? I can put a hopper underneath. That worked great, allowing the XP to come out and the items that jump out actually get picked up. But then some items were jumping down here as well onto this bit of glass. Oh my goodness, this has been a nightmare. So then I decided, let me try a hopper minecart underneath that trapdoor, and now it all works, and that will pick up any items. They won't jump through, but it also allows the XP orbs to come through. And like I say, it's not quite perfect, but in terms of collecting the XP, it really does the job well, and that is all I needed. It's still not 100%, but I think the changes that I made here are quicker than me making another farm, if you don't include the time that I spent actually designing all this. But that is all of that ready to go. So now I need to get a Litematica schematic for this, and we'll jump into my survivor world and build this up. Hopefully it won't take me too long. Well, this worked out quite nicely. I didn't even have a full inventory. I don't really know why this dropper is here, but I just brought it along just in case. But I think it's probably one that wasn't powered when I took the thing, and then it was powered when I placed it down and did the material list or something. Bit weird. But now I need to basically start breaking all of the bits down that I don't need. Where's my axe? What have I done with my axe? Oh no. I put it... Oh, I know where it is. It's in my ender chest. What a muppet. I just flew all the way there for nothing. I should have brought flint and steel for this. I just noticed something pretty cool with Litematica. When you're looking through glass, it looks like the items are actually already placed, but they're not. How interesting. So while this doesn't take a lot of resources, getting around this is pretty annoying, and it's pretty difficult to get the angles to actually place the blocks you want to place, because they have to go in certain ways, like these pistons for example. There's always something, isn't there? Now I need one rail. Right, that is the killing chamber set up. All we need is the armor stand in there, but I'll do that a little bit later. I'm just taking a look over the final thing. I think I missed a glass block here. I'm not really sure what that does, but I can reach that from inside here, so that shouldn't be a problem. Everything else is done. I just need the armor stand, and I also need a flint and steel to light the end of this path, and then we're all good to go. I actually ended up moving these because I was worried that items might get stuck on here. I don't think it was an issue, but I just didn't think it would hurt to kind of loop that away, and that way any extra items will also drop in here as well, so that should be fine. I realise it's probably for the best if I just make an extra sword for this. We can just leave it at diamond to save me the netherite ingot. Whoa! Thought I was going to die there. There is one more thing that I need to do here, which is place a beacon. So now I need more glass. Oh, there's always just something else. There's always something else to do. And there we go. The beacon is in. Now if I can just get inside. I didn't want to fall down there, but oh well. Hopefully this all works. And there we go. All sorted. The XP is coming in. Let's jump back to mining up the island. Well, I am nearly there with this island, but it is taking way longer than I anticipated. To be honest, I really underestimated how many blocks there are. I mean, it's ridiculous how many blocks I've collected. I've been going for 4 hours so far, and if we take a quick look over in my storage here, you'll see all of the dirt blocks that I've gathered up from this, which is absolutely insane. I had like 8 shulkers before this, and now I have just so many. And also my regular stone is also getting crazy amounts as well. So this is yeah, this is really taking a toll on my shulker boxes and on my time. But I'm just going to take a little break from all this digging, because I do actually want to take another look back at the gold farm that I was working on earlier in the episode, because I'm not happy with the storage. To be honest with you, you can see I've got a stick on me. I worked on a new system for storing the items. The killing chamber works fine, but for now I just need to get this storage set up better. And I think I've come up with something that should do the job pretty well. If I can get inside. So we need to load this schematic first. Unfortunately, with the new FreeCam, it actually doesn't do the same thing it did before, where I can adjust where I'm looking. It just goes in the same direction as the player looking. So that's a bit annoying, unfortunately, but it means I'll just have to do it this way. So yeah, we're basically going to have to rip all of this out. The purple blocks are ones that should be air blocks. So you can see I've actually minimized it quite a lot. So we're just going to turn that off, and I'm just going to start ripping all of this out. So I've completely cleared out all the storage down here except from the floor. And now I need to actually put all of the stuff in. Now this shouldn't be too bad because there's not that many blocks. This is showing as glass because on the creative world I didn't actually do this layer. But since my glass was already on the bottom layer, I might as well just add the extra layer of chests. There's no point. I also did add an extra layer to the side of chests as well. And I don't have any glass. I don't even know if I have enough blocks for this. I've just taken it from the old storage. Well, that was nice and easy. It only took me 10 minutes. Everything is set up, so we've got the same system of it dropping down in here. The only difference here was that, I don't know if I can see it from this spot. You got this dropper in here. That second one is not for any particular reason. But basically, the hopper that's right in front of you, I removed the minecart hopper because that was actually picking up some of the other blocks. So I put this vine up here, which then stops them from entity cramming. And it also allows you to kind of get the sweep and edge effect going upwards a bit. So they kind of die as soon as they fall in because they've already taken damage before they fall in. I've not had any items get stuck up there. It's very consistent. It all works with a few little things to kind of block these up because sometimes some items would drop off. And once I did all that, it worked for me for about half an hour without any issues, so hopefully that should be it. But you can see here we've just got, this sends the items along, they go into these item filters here. So we've got 3 for the gold nugget, gold ingots, and then we have 6 for the gold nuggets, and then of course I have 1 for the zombie heads, which I already got quite a few from before. So all I need now is a flint and steel, and then we can run this and give it a test in this world to make sure it's completely working. There we go, that is now lit, so let's jump in and give this a quick test. Might as well fix up the pickaxe that I've been using. So we just come here, we press our auto clicker, you should see any second they start piling in. Oh, you know what, I made a mistake. I forgot that there is some blocks that need to be removed. Are they going to reach me? There we go. And you can see they are starting to take damage, but it's not as bad when you're actually going with the farm. And another thing I forgot was to turn it on. That would be helpful. So you can see out the corner there, the items are getting pushed around. So one other cool thing I did is you can see this block here is being powered, which should be powering this dropper. So every time the slime block is pushed out, it powers the dropper, because I did have an issue where when the slime block was pulled back, some of the items would get shot onto the ice rather than into this gap. So if you have it when the slime block is out, it actually blocks it from going down like that. So that way all the items are getting collected. So another cool thing with this is the previous setup that I had was giving me 72 gold blocks per hour, but this one's actually giving me about 4 stacks per hour, which is a lot more. Probably because of the looting, I imagine, but still, yeah, it's really nice to have that extra gold anyway. So if I leave this AFK, I should be getting it a lot quicker. So I decided to leave this gold farm AFK overnight just to see how much gold I would get, and it is way more than I used to get. This is brilliant news. because that means that's fully working. And also, I got so many of these piglin heads, I don't know what to do with them all. I mean, they're probably going to sit here forever, but if I'm ever in need of heads for any random reason, this is probably where I'll be coming. But now let's head back to the main islands, and we'll finish off mining down that island finally. I'm just going to do it all in one time lapse, no more cutting of it. Well, that took me a very long time. It took about 8 hours to mine all of that, which I was not expecting. I thought maybe 3 or 4 hours, but as it turns out, there was around 250,000 blocks there. And you'll see, if I come over here, I've completely filled up all of my dirt and stone locations. I am going to need a bigger storage soon, so that is a bit annoying, but unfortunately, we now have just tons of dirt. We've got something like 40 shulker boxes. But for the stone, look at this. This is all stone. That's 54 shulker boxes. Then we have full stone, another 27 shulker boxes, and then we have another 8 here. So that's 89 shulkers of regular stone, which, you know, we're going to use that eventually, especially for crafting some of these redstone resources. Also, I realised the reason why my game was lagging earlier when I had the shaders on, it wasn't just due to the builds, it's because when I installed the new fabric version, it was on 2 GB of RAM allotted, when before I was playing on 16, so yeah, I've changed that and now it seems to be working okay again. Now, unfortunately, this hasn't been the most build heavy episode. All I've really done is destroyed this island and fixed my gold farm. But I've spent a lot of time updating the systems. I had to trim the chunks to allow for the new updates to be available. And also just testing everything out, testing all the data packs. It's taken a lot of time this week. But there is actually something I realised from last episode, which is I need to grab some lime glass, because I actually left 3 things left to do on Tatooine. I didn't finish it, I lied. Again, I lied again, I'm sorry. So something I noticed in the last episode when I was editing it, I actually deleted 2 glass blocks and I don't think I replaced them. This should be closed off, so that's done now. There is one other thing which I said I would do, which I haven't done, which is I wanted to essentially put something here. I don't know how much space we're going to have to work with though. So I wanted to put a little double chest here just to collect some of this green dye, because currently I don't have any way of getting it automatically. And that should probably do the job. We have this double chest down here now, and then if anything gets overstacked, it will just go into this and get burned below. I'm hoping that it doesn't set anything on fire, but I guess we'll find out if my whole thing gets burned down. So that just leaves one more task for Tatooine, which is something that was suggested to me by one of the subscribers, by Lepton, a while back now. I completely forgot that we even spoke about it in the Discord, if I'm completely honest. But it's technically not Star Wars, and that is 2 of the troopers in Spaceballs using the comb to comb the desert. And I thought it'd be quite funny to do anyway, and I'm thinking somewhere in this area here. Just need to pick a good spot for it. I could put it here, but then it's a bit too hidden away. I'm thinking maybe just on this edge here, we'll do that. And now Tatooine is actually finished finally. And I hope you like the look of this. To be honest, for the writing, I thought it was quite funny that some of the letters were actually possible with single items rather than just me using like candles to make the letters. I thought this looked a bit funnier and a bit derpy, which is obviously part of the movie that it comes from. Now obviously, as with all of these armor stand scenes that you suggest, I've put your name on there, and if you want to use your actual Minecraft skin head, you can share the details with me on Discord. Something else that I thought would be quite funny, but it's up to you two, obviously Lepton and Don Pebble. If you want, I can put Don Pebble's name on here, since you guys are the first 2 proper subscribers, commenting in every video and talking in the Discord. If you want to be put there together, that's between you two. I can change that, no problem, and I can put both your heads on there as well. But now that's done, it's time to start working on Mustafar, and to be honest, I don't think I'm going to be able to do a lot more in this episode. It's been quite a long one with mining all this down and fixing some of the farms. Something else that I did realise was that the items, I use a 3D texture pack from Vanilla Tweaks, and it really works well for the armor stands. It gives me more shapes to work with, and I didn't actually download that, so all of my armor stands got messed up, but that's fine. I reinstalled it and it's all good. Now I think we're just going to work out a basic shape, kind of how I want this to be, where I want things to go, and then I think next episode we'll work on actually doing the landscaping for this. So this is the rough layout that I have, and doing this layout I've actually realised there's probably plenty of space to do this. I was worried it might be a little bit small, but this is going to be kind of the height, maybe a bit taller, we'll see once I actually get the mountain going in. But we're just going to have kind of part of the mountain across the back, where you see this line here, so this one all the way along here is going to be kind of raised up. This part isn't going to be raised up as high as you see, because part of the complex sits on top of a bit of rock here, and then we have some more going along the face here, and then we'll have some lava flowing down. Now this line down the middle is going to be basically a big lava river. That's where we're obviously going to do a lot of the fight scenes between Anakin and Obi-Wan, and then these little pillars here is kind of going to be a hill slash some little rock formations sticking up, and obviously we're going to be doing a couple of scenes along here. Now I have been watching through the fight scenes in order to try and figure out what I'm actually going to do, or what parts I'm going to do. And I tell you what, there's a few cool ideas that I have, but also there's some parts that like I don't know how I'm going to do it. For example, Anakin jumping over Obi-Wan. Now of course you can move the armor stands in terms of animations, but I don't think you can move the position, and once you move them they'll be further away from where the books are, so it will be more difficult to do that. So I'm not sure how I want to go about that right now, but I'm sure that will be something we figure out in the future. And if not, I'll just do separate parts of that scene along the lava river bank here, and just kind of have it as a screenshot rather than animated. But there are definitely some cool animated parts that I want to do, and one idea in particular I am really hoping works, because that would look absolutely amazing. It will just look phenomenal, so it definitely is something I hope works. Unfortunately, this week has been quite busy with getting everything set up and ready, so I don't really have a lot more for you today. Sorry if this one was a bit of a disappointing episode. I know we haven't really built anything, but this is once again preparations. Something else about these islands that I find quite interesting is the way that we converted them. The first one I had to till the dirt and then let it turn into normal dirt and then place grass down for it to spread. This island I just completely place sand over the top of it, and this one I completely got rid of it. So 3 different methods for each island, all of them just as long as the last. So this has been a lot of work, and I am really looking forward to having these first islands finished, and it's going to look really cool. But I hope you enjoyed this episode. Thank you very much for watching. I have spoken.